master. It be too late to alter course, mateys.
Okay, so this is my Interceptor carbon C-1 build, and I'm going to go over it with you guys here real quick before I continue on with this build. But if you haven't seen the videos that we've done already on this build, there's a video where we do the transmission mounting into the flat skid and the motor, and then also a box opening. So if you haven't seen those videos yet, I'd encourage you to go back and watch those first, and then come back to this one, and we're going to start building this truck. So as demonstrated or shown in the last video, we had the XP transmission from Reefs. I installed it here. Holmes Hobbies Revolver motor in here. We have the Vanquish. These are the straight F10 axles. And then of course all the components that come in the Rock Pirates kit. On this chassis there's still 2 cross members that I haven't installed, and that's just to give me more clearance and more accessibility as I move on into this build. I'll add those later, probably towards the end of the build. So, but I like how the chassis is sitting right now. We might tune it. Well, I know we're going to tune it some more, but obviously I like the layout so far. I'm in the back holes in the top for these axles. For the front axles, I'm actually down in the very bottom hole where the links are, if you can see down there. That helped me drop the front down a little bit more. And then on the rear, I'm in the regular mounting point for the rear shocks. And then for the top of the shocks, I'm up in the front. And I like the way it's looking right now. Suspension feels real nice. The new Reef shocks, the new XP shocks feel real nice. I went with 30 weight in the front and 60 weight in the rear. And everything's just floating really nice. Smooth as butter. Everything's going to articulate real nice. Everything's real loose. No binding, and that's what you want. So as we move forward into this build, I'm going to install the Reefs 900 LP Smart Servo. That'll be my steering. And then I also have the Reefs 300 IS winch to go in the front. And they're both going to be installed right here, and I'll get more into those as I get them in the truck. So I'm going to continue on with this build, and we'll catch up after make a little bit more progress. Okay, so I made a little bit more progress on the build, and I got the servos in. And as I mentioned before, I got the 900 LP. This is a smart direct power in the front. And take a look at this. It worked out perfect. I didn't even have to use spacers right there underneath the servo where it mounts to the Rock Pirate servo plate. And so it just mounted in perfectly. I'm using the Vanquish 25T. That's the extended servo horn. And it works great on these builds with the Interceptors because it's relatively thin, the side profile there of the servo arm. And it'll fit. I had to do a little bit of trimming here on that end connector where it mounts to the pound hard mount. Just trimmed it a little bit with an X-Acto knife, but it'll fit between the frame rail and the mount right there. And without spacing, it ended up being right where I needed it. And then I also have the winch in it now, the 300 IS from Reefs. And same thing, dropped right in, didn't need any spacers, and I've got all the clearance I need underneath to make sure all this is going to happen when the suspension flexes. So stoked about that. And then also I've got my plank battery tray in the chassis now. And as you can see, I used some spacers. It's mounted right underneath the back of the servo tray. And with the Rock Pirate spacers, you can get that nice and low. And see, it's down tucked between the frame rails there. It gets you a super low center of gravity. So I may or may not leave that there. Just depends on my weight distribution when the build's done. If I need more weight towards the back of the truck, then I'm going to go with the Rock Pirates RC, the slider battery, the competition slider battery combo. and put that on here, and those will mount right here without any issues. Everything will line up perfect. It's all made to fit. So everything's coming along real nicely. I'll touch on the drive shafts real quick too. So I normally use the deluxe drive shafts on my builds, and I've been watching these on Amazon for a long time. They're really cheap, and I've seen mixed reviews on these. I don't know how well they're going to hold up. Some people say they hold up great. Some people say they haven't had really great luck with them. So I'll throw them on here and test them out and find out for myself. But I do have nothing but positive things to say about the deluxe drive shafts. Cut the length, or cut the fit. So, but I'll test these out and see how they do. They were available and I needed them quick. So, all right, we're gonna move on with the build. I got some more stuff to share, and I'm really enjoying this. This has been a really fun build so far, and so I'm just gonna keep on going. Okay, so I decided I'm gonna go ahead and get the bumpers on it next. So these are the comp bumpers by Rock Pirates RC, and these come in black as well. I'm gonna put the raw stainless on this build, and I'm gonna use the Rock Pirates RC black anodized fairlead for it. And then also I'm gonna start laying out the body on this build and figure out where I want it, and then get my body post mounts set up on the shock tower. So I'm gonna jump into that next. So I put the fairlead on, and just so you guys know, we made our bumpers and fairleads to work with your normal M3 hardware that your whole truck's built with. So you don't have to use smaller screws or fine screws to make these work. So the screw I used is M3 by 8, and then the nylocks work out perfect. They just start to bite before they get tight. So I know they're not going to come loose, but they won't stick out the back real far as well. So that worked out really nice. Okay, I got the bumpers installed, and for that I used M3 by 10 hardware with some nylocks. And as you can see, the length is perfect. I also like to get the bumpers, if your body allows it, to be as tight up to the chassis as possible for approach clearances when you get your truck out on the trail. And then for the back, got the Rock Pirates rear bumper on it, comp bumper, and same thing, M3 by 10 hardware. And I use a nylock at the back, and you don't have to set it up this way, but I just chose to. And I use one of my cross members to thread into for the inside screws. And another thing I should let you guys know, if you're doing this build and you want to order the Rock Pirate bumpers, we have them in two widths. We have them in 3" and 3 1/16. So for this build, you'll want the rear bumper to be the 3.16 width, and for the front bumper, you're going to want to have the 3.0 width, and they'll fit right up and mount up perfectly. All right, let's keep going. Okay, so we got the body post mounts on now, and I sat the body on here to make sure this is where I wanted to locate them. But look how clean they are. The machining on these are like jewelry. I know I say that all the time, but it is a really rad part. And as I was building this, I know I'm a little bit biased, guys, but as I was building this, I always, think, as you add parts to a build, they start looking like they're getting cluttered. And I have to say that the Rock Pirate stuff is all made to work together. So as you're adding parts, it just keeps getting better and better, looking better and better. And so I'm stoked. I'm gonna keep on going. Also, once in a while we get questions from customers wanting to know why Rock Pirates uses M4 holes at the top of the shock towers instead of M3 like the rest of the chassis on our top of our shock towers. And I'm just going to show you really quickly one of the reasons why we do this. And we knew the Interceptor was going to have to fit multiple platforms, and so we wanted a lot of flexibility when we designed this chassis. So like, here's a body post mount, and as you can see, the location I picked is right here next to the shock mount. Now before I tighten the screw for the shock mount, I can move it up and down, front and back just a little bit, but once I lock down the nylock right there, it's not going to move. So when you put your body post mounts on, or any other part you're going to put on the truck, you have a little bit of flexibility here. See, I can move this left to right, back and forth, up and down, and that comes in really handy a lot of times when you're doing a custom build. So, but once I lock these two screws down, this is not going to move. So not only that, let's just say I put the body on here and I go to locate the the holes in the body for the posts that are going to go into the body post mounts. And if I'm off just a little bit, you got to egg the holes out in the body to get that to work. Well, with this still being a little bit, before you tighten it, you can move this around. So if the hole is towards the front and I'm off a little bit, I can move this towards the front, even tilt it a little bit, and still hit that point without having to make the holes in the body all big and oblong them and make them look bad. So just having this little bit of tunability goes a long way sometimes in a build. So I hope that helps you guys and sort of understanding why we did that on some of our chassis. Okay, so I elected to go ahead with our comp sliders, and this is our comp slider combo. And I did that because, like I mentioned earlier, I can put the battery up here on the plank if I so choose, but now I have the option to either put it here or put the battery up here. But what I'll do is I'll do the exact opposite with the receiver and with the ESC. I can now put the receiver and electronic speed control up here on this battery tray and still keep it weight forward, or I can put it back here on this slider or this slider. So I'm not positive which direction I'm going to go yet, but I know as I move forward it's going to make my layout a lot cleaner and give me more options as I move forward with this build. So I think this is going to work out really nice. So another thing you should know is that these comp sliders are made for mini chassis and different builds, and because the skid area on the Interceptor Carbon C-1 is so small, because we wanted to eliminate hang-ups as much as we could for performance on breakover, that the comp sliders, they protrude a little bit past the back of the chassis right here, because the chassis kicks up early front and rear for clearance when you're on the rocks. And so I have the option now just to leave that and wonder if it's going to be that big of a deal for me or if I should cut that off. And I haven't decided yet, but right now I'm thinking, because this is going to be a comp truck for class 1 for me, I think I will go ahead and cut those ears off right there and then file them down to make them smooth. Okay, so that wasn't too hard to do. I just used the cutting tool on my Dremel and a little cutting wheel here, and just went back and forth across the material until it slowly worked its way through and came out really clean. So this piece is gone now, and I filed it. And another thing you can do, if you want to touch it up, just take a black Sharpie and just go over that, and it'll almost make it so you can hardly even see it. So that turned out really clean. I'm going to put this back on the truck. Okay, so that pretty much completes the build. Got a few things to go through and show you guys, but this is going to be my class 1 build. So I did go with the 4.19 crawlers from Proline, and the wheels that I went with, and there's some wheels I had from before, but I really like these. They're sort of a US mag, sort of a slotted style wheel. And I think K&K used to make these. I don't know if they still do anymore. I didn't see them on their website when I checked just a little while ago. But yeah, I mean, I've got the Rock Pirates comp sliders on here now. They came out really nice. And sort of like what we talked about earlier, I elected not to put the battery up there here on the plank battery tray. Put the receiver here, and then next to it, in the future I'll do another video, but I'll probably put the Rock Pirates locker lights control module there. And the way the truck laid out and its weight and everything, I chose to go ahead and use the comp sliders battery tray for my battery mounting down the road. And I'll go ahead and put the Velcro strap on this then. But this battery tray works really good with like a 800 or 1000 milliamp battery, and it would go here just like so, and then strap it down. And this gives me quite a bit of run time, definitely more than I need to run comps and so on. And I can even run this battery at night and still cruise around with friends and stuff, at least get an hour out of it. So that works out really nice. I did change the shock locations a little bit from what we talked about earlier in the video. Once I put the tires and wheels on it, I chose to go ahead and take the front mounting point down and forward one hole. And again, what we talked about earlier with those M4 holes in the shock tower, if I didn't have those, I wouldn't have been able to put the nylock underneath it right there. So I was able to push the body post mount all the way up and still fit the nylock underneath it and put the shock where I wanted it in this tune. And on the back, I dropped it down one hole in the back, and then I took the nylocks off and I used the extra cross member that comes in the kit to stiffen the top of the rear shock towers, as you see. But I think that's about it, you guys. I didn't change anything else. The build came out super clean. This thing came out at this point, even with the ESC and the motor and the receiver and everything, I'm at 4 pounds, about 12 ounces right now. So I'm under 5 pounds, which is pretty crazy. And I do have weight up front in these axles to, help the truck have more forward bite. So yeah, truck's super light. It's crazy. And I have the square ESC, and I've used these in the past, and they work really nice. Oh shoot, the light won't cooperate with me. There we go. There you go, now you can see it. And this ESC is amazing when you run the Holmes Revolver. So, all right, I got one more thing I want to show you guys. It's sort of the surprise for the end of the video. But let me go ahead and get that ready, and then I'll show you what I did. I'd also like to give a shout out to Jason over at Printed Addictions. He did custom inserts for me for this build. And these are for the 1.9 419 crawlers. And so he has those available now for you guys if you want to have custom inserts made for your crawlers with that size of a tire. Jason is an awesome guy. If you haven't heard of Printed Addictions, he does custom inserts for a lot of people, for a lot of builds, and he does other projects too. So go check out Jason on Instagram. He did an amazing job for me, and I really like the way these tires feel, and I think they're going to perform really well. So, all right, let's move on. Okay, here it is. What do you guys think? I chose to go with the Carmagia body, and this one's made by Tamiya. And I went ahead and after I got the build done, trimmed it up to make it match the build. And I think it came out pretty radical. I'm on, the links on this build and the axles are out of the Vanquish Fordyce. And I used those stock links. And my wheelbase is 12.5. And the body obviously isn't made for that wheelbase, so I had to get pretty creative with how I cut the rear fender wells, but they still look really, really good. And I'm really stoked. I can't stop looking at this this body sitting on here. It's just turned out way cooler than I anticipated. And the reason I went with this body is when I was a young lad, and I'm talking over 30 years ago, I remember seeing a Baja style Carmagia in a, it was either Hot V Dubs or one of the off-road magazines back in the day. And I've always wanted to build one in real life. And of course, I've never been able to, you know, make that happen. But I thought, you know what? I'm going to get this body from Tamiya and cut one up and put it on here and just see how it looks. And I'm just completely stoked. So hope you guys are too. Hope you guys enjoyed the build. And I'll do another video after this one where we'll go through you know, how I painted it, or you guys will actually be able to see how I painted it, what I chose for colors and so on. I'm not that great of a painter, but then we'll also get it on the trail and just see how this build does. So anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed the video, and we'll see you in the next one. Thanks.